Welcome back to Becoming Number One Podcast, where our goal and mission is to help you become the best version of yourself while we are on our own pursuit to become the best versions of ourselves.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, Aidan.
Here we are. We got some new stuff going on today.
Yeah.
We got a second camera.
We do too.
So I'm looking at one. David's looking at one.
I was looking right into it.
Yeah. And now we're posting a whole lot.
Yes.
On social media. We went what feels like from 0 to 100. We're posting YouTube videos now, shorts, reels, the whole 9 yards. So if you've enjoyed what we've put out so far, please give us a like, give us a subscribe.
Yeah, give us a follow, share it.
Something like that.
If you find any value in any of the stuff that we put out, give it a share. Send it to a friend. That really helps us, and it also makes us feel good. The work that we're putting, that we're putting into this, giving you guys as much free information that we possibly can, where you don't have to go buy a bullshit course for $9.97 to learn the things that we're telling you on this podcast. Give us a share.
Yeah. And as well, give us suggestions of what you want to hear. Because obviously the whole reason why we started this just is to share our experience on our own journeys of personal development, personal excellency, entrepreneurship, all of that. But if there's things specifically that you're struggling with right now or kind of wrestling with that you'd like to hear a second take on or hear how we've experienced that, then let us know, because we'd be more than happy to dive into that.
100%. And that's what we would prefer to do as well. We would prefer it for you guys to let us know what you're struggling with so we can give you a 10,000-foot overview, unbiased opinion of what we think that would help you. So, I completely agree. But yeah, follow us on Instagram, Becoming Number One.
Same thing on YouTube. Becoming Number One.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm sure you search that enough times and you'll probably find it.
Yeah, you'll find it.
Yeah.
Ain't hard to miss this face.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's how I feel when I get a haircut.
Yeah, there you go. Let's jump right into it. What are we talking about today?
Yeah, so today we're going to talk about the price of success and what it takes to achieve that. Because everybody loves the idea of being successful, but a lot of people don't like the harsh reality of what it takes to be successful.
Yeah. Well, I think rather too, people's conceptions of the journey to success are totally misconstrued.
Yeah.
People who haven't started that journey or reached success don't truly grasp what it takes. And I don't even want to say that I'm the best person to speak wholeheartedly on it, because I haven't achieved the success that I want.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm still in that grind. And
Sure.
I know you are too.
Absolutely.
That's why, it's part of why we're doing this.
I don't view myself as successful. I truly don't. But if I look at it from what I've done from 18 years old to 24 years old, I have done more in that time frame than most people my age.
I agree.
And I've lapped a lot of people. So I do have some insights to share on just the journey that I've been through so far and what that takes to go from a broke kid in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin to someone that's actually building something now.
Yeah.
So it's there's insights, there's tips and tricks, and there's the harsh truth and reality of what it takes to do something great.
Which we're about to dive into.
We're on the mission to do something great. So.
We are, and we're about to dive into all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the first thing is, right, because what's the price? That's kind of what we have to look at. Because there has to be a give and a take for everything that we want to achieve in our life.
Mm-hmm.
If it's something great, if it's a dream, it's an aspiration, it's a goal, you always have to give something up in order to get that, or you have to change. And with change or with giving something up, there is resistance, and there is that price you have to pay at the checkout. So you have to ask yourself, hey, is what I really want to do, my goal that I want to achieve, is that worth that price that I'm going to have to pay? So you're going to have to figure out before you go and you strive, who do I need to become? What do I need to change? What do I need to give up? And you have to ask yourself, am I really willing to give those things up? Because if you're not, then you're never going to reach the end destination.
Yeah. And like you said, every success, every goal does have a price. But the cool thing and also the scary thing is everybody's price is going to be completely different.
Yeah.
Right? Some people are going to be given an easier start. Some are going to be given, some headway in the middle, and some are just going to have it hard the entire time. But no matter what, like you said, life is a transaction. It is a give and a take. So no matter if you have big goals, medium goals, ginormous goals, there is going to be something that needs to be given in exchange. Could be just a little bit. It could be more than you could ever imagine. So no matter what, if you want to achieve success, the first thing I think that we've alluded to is that you need to be willing to give something in exchange. It could be time, it could be money, it could be blood, sweat, tears, it could be all of the above.
Absolutely. Ray Dalio said this. He said, you can have anything, but you can't have everything.
Yeah.
You can have anything, but you can't have everything. What does that mean to you?
Well, for me, it just goes back to the saying of you can't have your cake and eat it too. It's basically the same thing. And I've seen that in my personal life, in that I've actually had to many, many times change the goal, so to say, based on what I was willing to give and not willing to give, right? So for me, there's certain non-negotiables. Time with my wife, time with my dogs. That's a big one for me. Security of my family. Those are non-negotiables for me. And there's a handful of others. And so there's been certain things that I've had to put on the back burner because I'm not willing to sacrifice those things. Versus I've also dedicated lots and lots of time, money, and effort into plenty of things because that was something I was willing to give up relentlessly. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't think too deeply into it. I just think that people want everything given to them, and they don't want to give a whole lot in return, and that's just not reality.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. And a lot of this, what it comes down to as well, is you guys are going to need to change. And you have to ask yourself, hey, am I willing to change into that person and give up those things? Because if you're not, well, then you have to kind of go back to the board and say, okay, well, I'm not willing to give this up, just kind of like Aidan. That's a non-negotiable for him, is time with his wife. I was going to say your kids, but your dogs.
Same thing. Yeah.
Right? His time with his wife and his dogs. He's not willing to give those up. So when he has these goals, he has to look at, okay, well, how is this going to affect that? Or how is, spending time with my wife going to affect this goal? Am I going to be able to put that much time to it? If not, okay, maybe he has to readjust it and do something else. Or he has to make the sacrifice and give up some time with his wife. And maybe it's going to be a benefit in the long run because eventually he's going to be able to have more time and freedom with his wife, right? So there is a give and a take, but you also have to be strategic about what you're doing because is a sacrifice worth it? And we'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah, we'll dive into that
because that's very important as well. But I want to talk about the reality of the trade-offs of what those are going to look like. I kind of wrote a list down here. Obviously, success isn't free because if it was, everybody would have it. I think we could agree with that. Everybody on here. Success is not free. Everything comes at a cost, whether it's time, comfort, or relationships. So the common trade-offs is going to be time, right? Long hours, you're going to miss out on the sporting events, you're going to miss out on the hangouts with your friends. It's just going to be a thing. You're going to have to give up time, okay? But the goal is to get that time back. That is the goal. The second one's comfort. The pain of discipline, rejection, and uncertainty. Are you able to give that up? Most people can't give up certainty. They can't.
It's the whole trade-off of salary versus commission.
Correct.
Right? We're in sales as a profession. And that is the thing that anybody who's in sales has to struggle with. Do I have the stability of a salary, or do I have the unlimited potential of eating what I kill?
Yep.
But this is uncertain. This is certain.
Yep. Most people can't give that up. That's a big one. Hobbies, obviously, cutting out distractions, focus on what moves the needle forward. Are you able to give up those hobbies? Maybe, let's say, hypothetically speaking, you would go to a painting class every Tuesday and Thursday. Are you willing to give that up to achieve your dreams and your goals? That is a question you have to ask yourself, and it could be any hobby. It could be any leisure, okay? Relationships. There's going to be an impact. If you are trying to do something great in this world, it is going to take a toll on your relationships. In some way, shape, or form. It could be big or it could be small, okay? So you have to ask yourself, Is the impact on my friendships, my family, even romantic relationships worth what I am trying to do? Because there's a give and a take for everything that you do. If you're trying to do something great, you have to put a lot of time in it, and a lot of time follows a lot of focus and attention. And that means that attention is going to shift from one thing to another.
Yep.
Security and stability. Obviously, we kind of just talked about that with the certainty. And then your ego and your identity. Are you able to let go of who you were to become somebody new? That one right there is huge. Are you able to let go of who you used to be to become somebody new? And let's talk about your ego for a second. Are you able to put your ego aside and eat shit for years when you want somebody else, the world, right? Because everybody wants to be viewed a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? A lot of people want to be viewed as successful. A lot of people want to be viewed as they're doing something with their life, right? And when you're in the beginning stages of building something, you're going to be eating shit for a while.
Yep.
And that's a harsh reality. You're not going to start a business and start killing it in 1 month. Now, is there people that have done that? Yes. But is that the norm? Absolutely not. It's going to take years to build something great. So are you able to let go of your ego to be able to achieve that great thing that you're after? Are you able to have people look at you and say and laugh at your face and say, look at that loser? Because they don't know that you're building something great. Are you able to let your ego go?
Or you should be able to ask yourself, are you okay with people not knowing you're successful while actually being that success?
Yeah.
That's a big one. A lot of people, they don't just want success, they want to be known for their success.
Of course.
But that's not always how it works out. A majority of the time, that's not how it works out. How many of the top billionaires in the world do we know? Maybe the first 5?
Yeah. If you go down, I think me and you were talking about this. If you go down the Forbes list, there's so many people on there you don't even know. And they're worth billions and billions and billions of dollars.
100%. Like, I mean, really, there's only a handful. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg. There's a handful of people who are billionaires, and I don't know how many billionaires are, thousands. There's a handful of people, literally, that you would maybe recognize on the street.
Yeah.
The rest of them, you could pass them all day long and not know a single thing about their success.
Absolutely.
Or their journey.
Yeah, because they're not dressing in Gucci and Louis and all that bullshit. They're not dressing in it. They're just casual. They don't care about what others think of them because they know what they think of themselves, and that is the most important thing.
100%. Is true success more important to you, or is people's perception of your success more important to you? You got to ask yourself that.
Yeah, absolutely. So those are some of the most common trade-offs that you're going to have to give in order to go after and pay the price to be successful, okay? Or to achieve your goals, or to win, okay? But as we mentioned earlier, let's talk about how to assess if the sacrifice is actually worth the end result.
Yeah. And for me, the thing that keeps coming to mind with all of this is delayed gratification.
Yes.
Right? Which is putting off gratification, right? Delayed gratification in order to achieve success. You're not looking for the instant gratification. You're not looking to stick your hand in the cookie jar and start munching on the cookie. Yep. You're okay with putting the cookie in the oven, letting it bake for a couple of hours before you get to touch it. Now, instead of a couple of hours, think couple of months, couple of years, couple of decades. That is sometimes the length that people are willing to wait to achieve success. Think about that. Some of the most successful people in this planet have waited decades to achieve success.
Yeah. And most of the time, if you want to do something great, it is going to take, well, before the internet and all this information at our fingertips, it would typically take somebody a decade, if not 2, to be able to build something great. Now people can do it in 5 years just because of the internet. Yeah. Okay. But it could take a decade. It could. And are you willing to sacrifice for that long and eat shit day after day after day, loss after loss after loss for 10 years? For 10 years. I am. Because I know on the other side, if I don't quit, there's going to be something great. Because I am willing to pay the price. So delayed gratification. Absolutely. Yes. And then on the flip side of that, there's reckless sacrifices. Right?
Yes.
So are you just sacrificing something to sacrifice it? Or are you being strategic about it? Or are you just kind of throwing it on the fire?
Yeah. I would say delayed gratification's right in the middle. You have reckless sacrifice on one end of the spectrum, and then you have no sacrifice at all on the one end, right? You have people who are too afraid to sacrifice anything. Life is so precious, I can't give up anything, yada, yada, yada. You got them on one end, and then you're right. You have the people who are just willing to throw everything away, right? And that's not necessarily always in a good fashion. I would say reckless sacrifice are people who are willing to drive 100 miles an hour on a motorcycle without a helmet.
That's crazy.
People who spend their days drinking and smoking with no end in sight. That's reckless sacrifice.
Yes.
That's never going to lead anywhere. And neither is not being willing to take any sacrifice or any risk at all.
Yep.
It has to be somewhere in the middle, right? And depending on your goals, you might be leaning one way or another, but you got to do something, right? You can't risk it all, but you can't risk nothing.
Yep, absolutely.
Somebody has said this, you can't achieve anything without risk.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree. My whole life has been risk. Yeah. All of it. It's calculated, but it's been risk. Shit, I don't know what's going to happen. I have an idea, but if it doesn't happen, well, I'm kind of fucked, okay? But I have faith in my ability to pull through. So, assessing if the sacrifice is worth it. You have to ask yourself, is it a trade-off? Is it temporary, or is it permanent?
Do the ends justify the means?
Yes.
And I think that's something that you and I both look at a lot, right? David spends a lot more time working than I. And I know personally, I've had plenty of conversations with my better half about, hey, you've been coming home late a lot. And yeah, we got new people in the office. Obviously, neither of us can leave until everybody's out. That's just what comes with the territory. Have to stay up late at night getting things done. And it means not as much time with her, but it's because we're working towards something. And I know you've experienced the same thing, if not more. But why do we do it? It's because all of this effort is going into something big that eventually we'll be able to give the freedom to spend our time doing whatever we want when we want. And I think I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Whether you want to achieve world domination or whether you just want to not have to listen to anybody, you do at some point and for some period of time need to put your head down to the grindstone and just work.
Yeah.
And I think your early 20s or even the entirety of your 20s is the best time to do that.
Absolutely.
You don't have as much responsibilities. You haven't yet started a family, most people. Now is the time to sacrifice your time, effort, money, energy, all of the above, so that you don't have to work until you're 60, 65, 70, as most people do now.
Yeah, I completely agree. If you're a young 20-year-old, maybe you're even 18. I got connected with this 18-year-old yesterday. Doesn't want to go to college, wants to get in our business, wants to learn. And that is the perfect example, if you're in that position, to just put your head down, sacrifice as much as you possibly can, because when you look up in 5 years, when you're 24 years old or 23 years old, if you're 18 years old, you're going to be so far ahead, right? Because when you're so young, you don't have that many responsibilities. You don't have that many people leaning on you or needing you. So it's a perfect time to get ahead. But I completely agree with you, Aidan. There is a time and a place for sacrifice, but also how big are your dreams and your goals? Because that might not just be a temporary thing. That might be a permanent thing.
Yeah.
If it means the world to you, there's nothing that's going to get in your way to achieve your goals and your dreams and your vision. Well, hey, there's going to be a lot of time sacrifice. There's going to be a lot of people angry because you're not giving them the time and the attention that they need. And that's just the hard truth about it. It is. And you have to ask yourself, is that worth it? Because if it is, then I don't see any issue of you going out and achieving your dreams.
No, and the flip side of that is the people who are going to be upset at your sacrifice, upset at you not spending time with them, are people who aren't aligned with you. And that's why we'll talk about it time and time again, how vital it is for you to surround yourself with people who you are aligned with, because you will be on this journey with them. They aren't going to nag you about spending time with them, right? Maybe your significant other, but that's something different entirely. If you surround yourself with people who you're aligned with, who are going to the same destination, who are on the same grind, they're in it with you.
Yeah.
They're not complaining about not seeing you because you're in it with them together. So if you find yourself being nagged by all these people, maybe they're not the right fit for you at this stage in life. Doesn't mean you got to ditch them forever, but maybe at this stage in life, they're not the right people for you. So go find the ones who are. Yeah. Because they are out there.
100%.
You just got to seek them out.
100%. Bring people along with you. I think over the last handful of years, that has been the most important thing for me. I don't want to do it by myself. I want to bring badass people around me. Or I want to bring badass people with me. Everywhere I go, everything I do. I want to include them in my dreams. I want our dreams to align. They don't have to be the exact same, but hey, I want you to go on this ride with me because I really like you and I think that you're going to be a benefit and a value add to my life. And I can be the same to yours. So hey, buckle up. We're going for a ride. Okay? So, is there a way to minimize the unnecessary sacrifices? Because a lot of people will hear this, right? Especially if they're young. They'll just cut out everything. The people that really want it, they'll cut out absolutely everything. And then they'll just go balls to the walls, which I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. I don't believe in balance, as you know.
Yeah.
But I do think you shouldn't lock yourself in a room for 24 hours.
Yeah.
I'm not that type of person. I believe that, hey, you should have this chunk of time where you go and you do something that you love because it's good for your mind, and if your mind's good, ultimately your work's going to be better and you're going to produce more. So do you think there's a way to minimize that unnecessary sacrifice? Or maybe take out the word unnecessary and just fill in sacrifice?
Well, I don't think there's any substitute for sacrifice, but minimizing, cutting out things that don't necessarily need to, for me comes down to intention, which is such an easy word to throw out, but it's so much harder in reality to actually do. Yeah. Because you know what it does is to be intentional, at least for me, requires stopping what I'm doing, not doing anything else, and just thinking. For me, intentionality is a lot about organization, right? Yeah. I'm going to prioritize really working hard on this one thing so that when I go to the next, I'm completely and utterly present. Yeah. So a good example is work and home. When I'm at work, I am working. I'm not sitting scrolling on my phone. I'm not fudding around. I am relentlessly working, getting done what I need to get done. And then that way, I know I've given everything today. Yeah. And that way, when I go home, I'm not thinking about what I could have done, what I still need to do. You know, for me, that's just what happens. But I should be able to just be completely present. So that comes with coming up with a plan. Okay, when I go here, I'm doing this, and this. That's it. Yeah. And that way, when I'm done, I can focus on something else. I think that's where a lot of people get in trouble, to be honest with you. Because if you look at it, what's a 9 to 5 is 8 hours? Yeah. Most people, they're working a job. They go in 9 to 5. They probably only get about really 2 hours of actual work done. Yeah. Right? The other 6 hours, you got an hour of a lunch break. You got the other 5 hours of, them being on their phone or them, kind of looking on the web browser. There's not actual work being done. Hermosi said this. It's not focus, it's attention. Yeah. Where's your intention going? Because with attention, that's going to allow you to get done what you need to get done. So if you guys take anything out of this, anything, ask yourself, what am I trying to achieve? What am I willing to sacrifice? What do I need to change about myself? And am I willing to give all of those things up to get to the other side? Yeah. I think you sit and ponder on that, and the answers will start to come to you. And once again, if you don't know where you're going and you want some extra food for thought, let us know. This is why we do what we do sitting here every week, is to help you. So we hope you like this one. Yeah, absolutely. And hey, by the way, if anybody repost our YouTube video. Oh, so I forgot about this. If anyone reposts our YouTube video on their Instagram story, we're going to give you a free 30-minute strategy call. Absolutely free. We don't charge for this shit. We want you to win. So please share it. And then you come with us with your problems, and we'll help you solve them and work through them. Completely free. No BS, no shit, no $9.97 course, only to help you. I like that. Let's get it.
Go.